Close Colts GM Chris Ballard breaks down the Colts' pre-draft approach at the local combine. Joel Erickson, IndyStarINDIANAPOLIS. Chris Ballard loves this part. The NFL draft is less than 2 weeks away, and inside the Colts draft room, years of work and a mountain of information are being thrown into the fire, tested and compressed into the team's final draft board, like carbon slowly transforming into a diamond. This is when the pressure inside the draft room begins to rise. This last 10 days, now you're really getting where you're comparing players within the round, by each position, who you would take first, Ballard said. It's a fun exercise, it's a fun debate. Colts GM Chris Ballard, the scouting staff and the Colts coaches spent Saturday morning inside the team's indoor facility, putting 41 players through their paces at the team's local pro day. Photo, Darren Cummings, AP. Information is still flowing into the building. Ballard, the scouting staff and the Colts coaches spent Saturday morning inside the team's indoor facility, putting 41 players through their paces at the team's local pro day, a chance to take a closer look at guys who played their high school or college football nearby. None of the names at Saturday's workout will show up in first-round mock drafts over the next 2 weeks, but Ballard believes a handful will be drafted, and a few more might end up earning a shot as an undrafted free agent with the Colts, a chance that Deshaun Bond, Krishan Hogan and Anthony Winbush have all turned into spots on the roster over the past 2 years. A few big-name prospects are still coming into the facility for visits, too. Notre Dame defensive tackle Jerry Tillery was at the Indiana Farm Bureau Football Center on Saturday, although he wasn't participating in the pro day. But for the most part, the next 10 days or so leading up to the start of the NFL draft on April 25th is devoted to finishing the work that's been going on in earnest for months. Golly, I feel like I haven't left the draft room since the combine, Ballard said. We've still got another week to go, and then we really start cementing the board. We're still working through every position. That's where the pressure begins to mount. Thank you. You're almost signed up for IndyStar Motorsports. Keep an eye out for an email to confirm your newsletter registration. More newsletters after a year's worth of evaluation on each individual prospect. The Colts are now ranking players against each other, figuring out who should be higher on the board. For Ballard and the rest of the scouting staff, that means a constant, continuing discussion that sometimes gets tense in arguing where people need to be, their final spots. Ballard said, "Look, there are times when people get passionate. The rankings determine what the Colts will do when their time on the clock finally comes. Indianapolis leans hard on its evaluations, while other teams around the NFL try to read the tea leaves and figure out who's going to fall to their pick. Some teams do in-house mock drafts to get a sense of what the rest of the NFL might do in front of them." Ballard tries to focus on the Colts' own evaluations. "We prepare for every scenario, but I don't really worry about mocks and what everybody else is thinking," Ballard said. "We hear things, we'll talk to people, we'll look at the possibilities, but at the end of the day we're going to set it how we look at it. We're going to go through scenarios if these guys are available." For Frank Reich and the coaching staff, these last 10 days or so are a little different. While Ballard and the scouts are in the draft room, the coaches are getting ready to welcome the players back Monday for the start of the team's off-season workouts. That doesn't mean their input on the draft class is over. "Chris does such a phenomenal job. The process is very organic. It's ongoing. It's exhaustive," Reich said. "Chris and his staff will come and pull a position coach, say, 'Hey, let's watch this guy one more time.'" Ballard wants to hear all of the opinions, wants to hear the debate. He loves this part because it's his overriding belief that a team makes its best decisions when everybody's making their case. "I don't like it when there's just silence in the room," Ballard said. "We want some debate. We want some argument. If everybody's thinking alike, then nobody's thinking." The Colts have a lot of thinking to do over the next 10 days.